Let's get into it here. Monday morning podcast content. Pulsic injury. All right, if you're going to talk about football, do a tiny bit of reading. Why? Christian Pulisic suffered a pelvic contortion from a goalkeeper knee, not exactly flopping, a word you made up and used without any knowledge. Stick to hockey. Okay, so a soccer player finally actually got hurt. You know what I mean? First of all, don't even act. We call it flopping over here. I don't know what you guys call it. Giving your team a rest. It's literally pretending you're hurt is literally part of soccer. So, how many times are you going to cry wolf before I'm going to be like, even when you actually get fucking hurt, I'm not going to believe that it happened. All right? If you're going to talk about football, for fuck's sakes, do a tiny bit of reading. I don't do a tiny bit of reading about anything. Everything on this, you just give a fuck. You give a fuck about it, all right? Jesus Christ. Every fucking 6 minutes, there's somebody rolling around on the fucking pitch in agony. Agony. And then 5 seconds later, you see the same guy running down the field. It's like when Paul Pierce got carried off the court on I don't know what, that fucking final, and 2 seconds later he came walking back out. I was like, what the fuck was that? That's my team I'm making fun of. Look at the Raider fans, bunch of animals. I'll tell you this, sir. The women play a manlier game of soccer than the men do. There's way less flopping. Way less flopping. They get hit, they bounce back up. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on with the guy. So I guess this guy actually got hurt. So my apologies. All right? But you can't get mad at me. What do you mean do a little bit of reading? I got to read about every fucking injury? If I did a little bit of reading about that, sir, I would find out that 90% of the people were actually okay. Listen, I saw Mo Salah one time on a fucking breakaway, whatever the fuck you call it, a freebie, a friendly. He's running down the fucking field there, or the pitch, or the hedgerow, as Robert Plant might call it. And this guy behind him just like a fucking, I don't know, one of the most cowardly moves ever. He just took his cleat and just fucking stomped on the back of his fucking calf. All right? And the guy kept going. And he went down and scored a goal. You know what? If it was hockey, after he did that, he could have turned around and beat the fuck out of that guy so that guy wouldn't do it again. That's what's missing in soccer. All right. Why don't you watch a little bit of hockey and see how a man's game played? All right? Instead of watching a bunch of men fucking rolling around in agony in their goddamn shorts every fucking 3 minutes. Jesus Christ. If I wanted to watch that, I'd watch Sex in the City. He didn't call me back. Wah! I know soccer's a beautiful game. I wish I had time to watch more of the World Cup. It's actually the only true world championship, I feel. You can't even say that about the Olympics. Look at the fucking Rams. The Rams are going to win this goddamn game. You can't even say that about the Olympics because there's all of these, PEDs and all of that shit. They always just seems to be, or even like back in the day when we didn't let professional athletes play in the Olympics and then we would go against Russia and it was their pro athletes versus our fucking amateurs. There's too much fucking, I'm not a big Olympics guy. All right, coffee hobbyist. Hey, Bill, I got really into coffee during the first months of the pandemic. Really into it. I spent over $400 on equipment. Oh, my God. Electric grinder, Chemex, temperature-controlled gooseneck kettle, AeroPress, French press. I haven't bought an espresso machine yet. Dude, those things are like, you can buy a fucking engine for your car for the amount of money those things are. They're like $2,000 or $3,000. I haven't bought an espresso machine yet to get into milk drinks yet, though. Once you learn more about coffee, you discover that it's very similar to other hobbies like craft beer. It's interesting, fun, and enjoyable. Yeah, and also highly addictive. The ritual of making a good pour over in the morning is cathartic and like meditation. I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Sitting down with a cigar, when you have your right drink, the proper ashtray, the right group of people, what kind of, because people actually know whether you go straight cut or a V cut on different styles or whatever, how you light the thing. I love a ritual. That's making me want to have a nice cup of coffee right now. Anyway, grinding the beans, boiling the water, it's a peaceful process. You should take up a career in writing about coffee because I got relaxed just reading that. Ever since then, I only grind and buy fresh roasted beans from the local roasters in my city and state to support small businesses. Jesus Christ, did Santa Claus write this? This is incredible. I also don't go to Starbucks anymore. Dude, fuck Starbucks. Starbucks could make a fucking espresso if their goddamn life depended on it. Their goddamn burnt beans. That is the McDonald's. They're probably owned by McDonald's. That's the McDonald's of fucking coffee. Fuck Starbucks. I only go to smaller local coffee shops and maybe small local chains. You should explore more about coffee outside of a cappuccino. You might really enjoy it. Thanks, and go love yourself. Look at this person. Just this person here has figured out life. Why don't you help me out? I just love a cappuccino so much. I've never tried anything else, no Americano or whatever. I've never done that. I like an espresso or a cappuccino. I'm sort of parked there until I get sick of it. I did find I was in a part of Hollywood I'm never in, and I found this coffee shop that was it was made from an old gas station, and they made a great espresso and cappuccino. I don't know, dude. Do I really need another thing to get into? Because then I'm going to go out and then I'm going to have to buy this stupid espresso machine and then I'm going to buy the beans and I'm going to do all of that. You know what? I looked into it and what I actually thought was, you know what? I'm going to let somebody else who figured this out make this shit for me and I'll give them my money. Having said that, I learned how to make a French omelet this week, which is not saying I do it well, but I actually finally understand the ins and outs of it. And I made 3 of them this week. I'm getting a little sick of eating omelets, but practice makes perfect. All right, morning intake. Let me get a drink here. Jesus Christ, Ray is just pulling away here. Kansas City covering. Look at this. I could possibly, if the fucking goddamn Chargers, I could go 2-2. I could go 1-3. I could go 3-1. If somehow somebody gets hurt on the Raiders and they stop playing. Max Crosby. That guy looks like a fucking lunatic. If I just saw that, I wouldn't. If I just saw what they just showed me of him, I would not have bet on the Chargers this week. All right, here we go. You know what? I was going to say maybe the Raiders go into the prevent and I could get the fucking backdoor cover, but they got a 14-point lead here. I need the goddamn Chargers to go down and score a touchdown right now, and then the Raiders to start playing more conservatively, which they shouldn't do, but they probably will. All right, morning intake. Dear Bill, I'm an MD and a nutritionist. I'm writing to say that while some of the numbers the listeners gave you last week about protein intake are not universally true, these figures can vary depending on a lot of things. Okay, great. So that guy last week who thought he knew all the fucking information, now here's a guy who's saying he's an MD, and I have no way of proving that. Proteins and healthy salts are great in the morning because they power the brain and provide longer-lasting energy than, say, bagels or muffins. I don't fuck with bagels and muffins. Of course, this isn't good for everyone, and they should consult professionals. On the topic of testosterone, this can be a strange topic because there are different reasons people get into T replacement therapy. I'm already going to say this might be one of the smarter people that's ever written in on the podcast. The average male starts producing less testosterone around the age of 35. This is a general stat that gets thrown around in advertising for snake oil, but is fairly accurate. Current food and lifestyle conditions of the modern man are creating huge deficiencies, which leads to lots of mental health problems, including mental illness. Doing it in this manner is just as simple as taking vitamins and supplements. But because tea has a taboo associated with bodybuilding, steroids, and male rage, people sometimes get weary of the idea. Thanks for the laughs. Well, please write in again and tell me about it. I think that person was mistaken that every morning I had an orange and a cup of coffee. It's just when I was on the road, because it was a quick, healthier solution than to order, whatever crap that they had. Like for the hotel breakfast, it's usually the most healthy thing that you can do is get the steel-cut oats, but they fucking make them in a giant vat 3 hours before you order them, and it tastes like paste. And then also 20% of the time, even though you say put the I don't want brown sugar, or put it on the side, they always dump it in.